Here's another amazing story from season 2.
Yes, I'm a humble person and I work with people. You understand? I don't know what his pocket was like or anything. So he was just going to grab a bite. And that bite was patty, orange juice, and a slice
And
of
a
cake.
slice of
Because
cake.
cake is my thing. I love cake. So, years after, telling our children our story, my daughter said, "But Daddy, you're bright. You invite my mother out for the first time and carry a girl patty and orange juice. Daddy."
That was out of order, Daddy.
This is Forever I Do. From meeting each other by chance on the street, Aubrey and Donna share a love 27 years sweet.
Wow. Well, I can remember many years back, I went to an organization to get some business done, and things fell through. I didn't go through. So I left feeling very disappointed, and that was coming out in my emotions. So I was walking down the street, and my eyes were very teary. And coming in the opposite direction was this lovely young man. And I guess he was touched by my emotions, so he stopped and he asked, "What's wrong?" And I told him, fortunately, he worked at the organization, so he said, "Come, let me assist you." And that was it.
Assisted every way.
So
See this nice looking young miss, tears in her eyes and things like that. I said, "Oh, something happened, I was really touched, and I said, ask her what's happened. And she told me, and I said,
just offered assistance.
I'm gonna see if I can help. I said, all right. Let me see if I can help you.
So, a couple of times I had to go back, and for some strange reasons, somehow he knew that I was there and he would turn up.
Somebody really, so when I helped her the first time, right? And somebody said to me, the young miss there, she out the front there,
And it would just miraculously appear.
I left and come out and,
One afternoon he was going for lunch and he said to me, "I'm going for lunch, would you mind coming? Do you have the time?" Of course, I've seen a gentleman in him, and I saw decency, and I said, "Yes, I'll talk along with you." And we went for lunch.
You want to, get to know her, nice little young miss. Would you believe me? I can't remember. But she told me that where I take her for lunch and what what I give her for lunch.
Because you know where we went? Yes, I'm a humble person and I work with people. You understand? I don't know what his pocket was like or anything. So he was just going to grab a bite. and that bite was patty, orange juice, and a slice
And
of
a
cake.
slice of
Because
cake.
cake is my thing. I love cake. So, years after, telling our children our story, my daughter said, "But Daddy, you're bright. You invite my mother out for the first time and carry her patty
Patty
and
and
orange
cake.
juice.
And
Daddy."
cake. That was how to father, Daddy. Yeah,
Well, Dale, for me, it was just spending a little time together, getting to know him a little bit more. And I didn't want to disappoint him either. You know what I mean? So I just went along.
She was nice looking, sweet little girl. And, she wasn't one of those girl who really run around and things like that. She was one of those homely girl. Yeah. She wasn't those party, what you call those party animal or stuff like that. She was one of those homely girl, always being home, work, home and things like that.
And doing a little business too.
Yeah, she was
as a little
going
so I used to sew and sell my stuff.
So you see, was ambitious.
Definitely, we were really connected, and I start to really call. I get a number and things like that, so I really start calling her and stuff like that.
And daily I read this telephone call. I remember one day I was at lunch, went for lunch, and when I came back from lunch, the operator said, "A gentleman by the name of Aubrey Thomas called. No, he said he would call you back." And I said, "Call me back?" Back in those days, it was telephone box, not house phone where you sit down comfortable. He would have to stand up on the roadside and wait to get his turn to use the box again to call me. And that meant something to me. He later on, I used to go by a friend sometimes if I'd want to talk to him and I was at home, I would have to go by a friend because I had a friend who had a house phone, but I didn't have a phone at home at that time. And so from time to time I would call him there, and when I'm at work, I'd use the opportunity to call him. I remember too that he used to swing by the house, and sometimes we would go out. You're young people and you plan your little trips. So sometimes I would invite him and he would run along with us. And I remember we used to go to the beach. We'd go to them used to have stage show back in those days down by Fort Clarence. So he would come and run along with us. And I find now that, I start liking him, And I remember, but we weren't saying it that much to each other. You're just reading the emotions and the actions and what's going on around.
I just trying. I said, boy, you definitely have to say, boy, just sneak in your little. Just make a little step, just like a little tiger cat, just moving. You see how tiger cat move into their prey? Just take time. You don't want to move too fast, just take your time and just move in like a little, just playing a little, just watching and seeing how things go,
And I remember one December he gave me a Christmas card. And when my sister read it, she said, like you. And then I had an ex-friend, Christine, who used to be running around with us. She said, "No, Donna, man, I'll be like you. Look like you like you." So I just
trying, I said, boy, you definitely have to say, boy, just sneak in a little, just make a little step,
Slow
just
move.
like a little tiger cat, just move in. You see how tiger cat move in to their prey? Just take time. You don't want to move too fast, just take your time and just move in like a little cat.
Where the marriage now was concerned, we're spending a lot of time together, and I had a relationship before, and what I saw in Aubrey, I really wasn't seeing it in that other person. And I knew I really wanted to end it, but he kept coming and kept coming. And, every time I said, look, you need to stop coming. I'm seeing somebody, he would still come. And I remember one night he came and just step in and step past. And Aubrey said, tell you what, I'm going to leave and you can explain things to him, talk to him. And I said, no, Aubrey, if you are leaving, I am leaving with you. And he said, no, Donna, just set the record straight. And it's somebody that it was going nowhere daily, and I just didn't plan to waste my life and waste time. I really wanted a stable relationship, and I saw that in Aubrey. Hence, I was looking in that direction, in his direction.
And I remember her mom. Her mom really loved me without him. Believe me.
Both parents.
Both parents. But her mom loved me without him. And her mom said to this guy, you get your chance, and you blow it. So that is it. We didn't do any engagement or anything. So we planned, we talk and everything. I said, boy, we're going time for we get serious and stuff like that. So we plan on everything. So mommy said, no need to talk to daddy, I said, why? How me I go talk to daddy now? One day me there over the house now. Daddy him is a man. You see outside, him sit down outside under one ackee tree and him play domino. Him had the life of the town, right? Over in Waterford, right? Him play domino right out by his gate. Everybody come play domino and then have a little drink and thing like that. So me go over there. I went over there now and I said, why? How me I go talk to daddy now? Really, I went inside and I said, boy, I want to go outside go talk to daddy, But really, honestly, me I tremble. And mommy said, you need to talk to daddy, And we went outside, and when we go outside now, and I tremble, honestly. I don't know how the word come out. I said, daddy, boy, I would like to have your daughter hands in marriage. Daddy look round for me.
I'll think about it.
We think about it. Up to this day, Daddy still thinking about it. Daddy is up by the Dovecat, and Daddy still thinking about it. And Daddy was the head cook and bottle washer of the planet.
I did the invitation, wrote them up, They were sponsored because my sister-in-law did the printing overseas. I just worded it, she printed and brought it. And I did everything. I just got the name of his guests, and I made up the guest list. Went and bought the stuff that we need to. We got a lot of things from friends because we were always helpful with other friends' weddings and stuff. They got involved. I had a friend who we went to school, and up to today, she's the only classmate that I'm still in touch with. Her husband gave us half case of chicken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I gave him money because he was working at the company. So I gave him money to buy a case, and he gave me back a portion and said, Donna, I'm going to give you half case because you have always been very helpful to us. And so we had family members who chipped in,
my mom came
bought
down
liquor
from
and other
overseas,
stuff.
and my mom and my sister surprised me, came down. I know that my mom was coming down, but I didn't know that my sister was coming down too, right? And we got a lot of stuff.
My mother, church family. My mother is very big in the church, so she have a lot of help. So I have a cousin who is a top chef. So he cooked, and along with the church family, and she got servers from her church dressed in uniform. The wedding was kept at the Baptist Church in Alpha-Tree, and we had a reception at Burbank Avenue in Avondale. So we catered for 140 persons, and we had food surplus. Friends and family turned up. People who I couldn't give an invitation to turn up, so we had a lot of support both ways. For me, I didn't want the traditional wedding. However, I did because Aubrey didn't want it the way I wanted it, and my mother said no. Get in your white dress and do the traditional. Because for me, I wasn't a fussy person, I would just get married. And probably for me, I was saying, we could just marry at the church, serve some drink and cake, and then we cut after our honeymoon. And they said no, they want wedding reception and all that.
I didn't want it like that.
We actually didn't go to our honeymoon after the wedding because we were living for the first time. So, and then we had family from overseas and really wanted to have some time. But years after, we have been doing a lot on the anniversary. We go to many hotels, many a times.
Yeah. Daddy want to do everything. Let me tell you, our first car, Daddy gave her money towards it. Mm-hmm. When we have our first child, our daughter, Daddy said to us, let me tell you something. When Donna got pregnant, Donna said, look here. You see, when what he said again? When your mother pregnant have Uno, she take care of Uno. So you know what happened? Uno go in mind for Uno picnic.
Take care of them.
Take care of them. And you see when Danny man fly. Couldn't touch that little girl.
We go out at night, so when we come back and go there far, them someone I daughter will get one on the yard, leave her.
Yeah.
So my parents cared for them.
And let me tell you something. Me no know if we spend money. You understand? She is Nigel's clerk.
Nigel is the finance officer.
She is the finance officer. You understand? So I allow her to really deal with that part of it.
He recognizes that I'm the person who I'm a planner, I organize, and I execute. You understand me? And I am not a spendthrift. I don't do things that we don't need to do. You understand me? I take care of the house, the bills first before I even consider doing the food. And I plan for things. I don't just get up overnight and say, oh, we need to do this. I will jump and do it. I plan and save towards things that we need to do.
I remember when my son, right? I remember when we have our son, right? It was about 5 days.
Oh.
5 days. Delia
Went unfed.
went unfed after him born. Yeah.
Wasn't getting any milk. He was just crying. And we didn't know because I had him on the breast. And he was not getting any feed. And I noticed he had a temperature. So I decided to go to the family doctor. And when I went to the family doctor, he said, Donna, Ed straight to the hospital. So he was born at the university hospital. And when we went, doctor said, give me this child. And once I hand him the child, the next call that they called us, he was on properly stringed up on drip and all of that. Almost lost him. And during the pregnancy, I became hypertensive from 4 months. I was on medication, and that was a real challenge. Every time, I used to go to the clinic, like normally in your early pregnancy, you go once for the month. Sometimes I'm there every week because of the pressure. So my suitcase was packed from very early, and every time I go, it was in my car, just in case they would hold me, admit me. But God was good.
I remember one special evening I went up to pick up Donna because she would go up there every day, right? And when I went up to pick her up, I saw this hand stretch through a window and signal like this. So I said, when I look, I see that it was she. And she said, come. So when I went up, the nurse said to me, you are Mr. Thomas? I said, yes. She said, Mr. Thomas, your wife is around there and in bed, and you can only spend 5 minutes with her. I said, what? She said, yes, only 5 minutes you can spend. Honestly, I start trembling. I said, what happened?
I was having a mild heart failure. I was having a heart failure.
When she was there, it was like they said to her that
the baby was crying a lot, and I saw them working on him up and down. I wasn't sure what was happening, and so I started crying, and the stress of doing that sent up the blood pressure, and the water started backing up in my lungs, put me into a heart failure, and they had to admit me for some days.
And when I went around to her bed, the nurse said, Mr. Thomas, time for you to go. And when I walk out, when I reach the nurse's station, my knees start buckling. And the nurse noticed.
But God is good.
Yeah.
God is good.
Yep.
God is good.
Honestly, the nurse started to rub my head and said, Mr. Thomas, she will be all right. It was like during the early part, kids, it was, you don't have no time for and the long work hours, we don't have no time for ourselves. But now kids are, big man and woman and things like that. So we have time, and sometimes we have a little extra cash and stuff like that, so we can
Eat out, run out of town, and do some stuff.
So you have to really just make it while the sun shines. Before kids, maybe, I don't know, but maybe Danica and Adriel might want to see this. But this was some lovely time because we used to go to church.
And go to the country. Our parents were from the country. So it was fun to drive down, and while driving down, this is when we would tell them our story,
Yeah.
And it was fun, especially to my daughter, because she would, tackle it. I remember one day Aubrey was in a taxi. They came home and told me the story. And a lady came in, so the taxi, you're sitting close, and Johnny came to just take time, look up on the lady. He's a first daddy. And the lady said, hello, take away your daddy. Then he look up in her face and just push her.
I said, wait, protect your mother property.
Yes. and you know what? I remember I was in a gas station one day, and the man came up to the window, so I was telling him the gas I want and the amount. My daughter just look up, Mommy, remember you're married to daddy, don't mash up your life. And most recently, my daughter said to me that, Mommy, God forbid, you and daddy better plan to stay together forever. Because if we not separate, none of you can married and you go and live on a life most miserable. So we better plan to spend a lifetime together. And oftentimes she says she wants a man like her daddy. She has a lot of regards for him. Yes. And so often she said to Mommy, you're lucky. You're a lucky woman. And I oftentimes reply to that, your daddy lucky too. You get a good wife.
I remember I said to Donna, baby, one thing I'm gonna ask of you. Please don't ask me to wash bathroom, to clean bathroom. And I frightened. I'm cleaning bathroom. So let me tell you something. A lot of things changes. You have to compromise. You understand? A lot of men say, boy, him nah do this and him nah do that and what have you. You have to really look beyond a lot of things. You understand? You have to just man up and just, say, look, if you want a good relationship and if you want to do the thing what it forever I do, you understand? You have to really
give and take.
You can't be hard and fast. You understand? Your wife says she wants to
space.
You have to give space.
You have to respect
you understand?
Space.
Yeah.
The trust is very important. Because even at the company where he was, remember for sometimes for days them gone out of town and them have to stay over in hotels. Nice fancy girl work at the workplace and they're there. Hello, I'm gone to my bed. If my husband don't call me sometimes, I say, call me back down, I'm in room so and so. You understand? I look up the hotel, Google the number, and I'll call him. But sometimes, I just go into my bed. I trust my husband.
It doesn't make sense you want to have this big fancy wedding
Not enjoying the marriage.
and don't enjoy the marriage. Marriage is not about this one day thing. Today you have this big elaborate thing like, and then tomorrow, that's it.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Everybody pack up and gone in separate ways.
Yeah. You have to plan for a lifetime together.
I would say let God be the center of that marriage. Love conquers all. So your foundation should be love. If it's not built on anything else, I guarantee you that it will crumble. So love must be the foremost thing. The next advice I give to people is that you must remember you don't own people. People are not property. You understand me? People are there to be loved, and you must be guided by that. What must be your principle. You understand me? And I would advise you to meet each other off. You have to learn to compromise. You have to learn to forgive, because there is no perfect marriage. Absolutely. Marriage is what you make it. You understand me? So you choose your path and decide, this is what I want, so I'm going to give it my all. I have no time to be vexed for a whole week, 2 weeks, and missing out on my husband. I want to continue having it. Therefore, I have to forgive each and every moment, each and every day. Sometimes Aubrey and I would have a disagreement, and after me don't tell him what me have to tell him, 2 2 after daily, him say, "But then you just done
cuss me off."
But daily, where that I go? Because I'm done with that, darling. It's me and you know. You understand me? And not into the 5 days vexation and the 10 days. That probably I remember earlier in the marriage, Delia, he was involved with a gospel ministry. And so they would take the road every day. Now I have children and I consider myself a responsible person. My kids have to go to school, so I can't be there with them during the week. But on a weekend I would go. And I remember there was a time when I asked my husband, Aubrey, don't go today. Just spend the time. I want you home. And him never comfortable. And of course, I'm not going to hold him and let him go. But guess what? This is your choice to go every day of the week. Well, guess what? Every day I go home, I cook. Me and the kids eat, I wash the pot and I turn it down. So when him come, no dinner, because that is his choice and I'm letting him have his will. You understand me? So I did that. And I said, not we're washing the clothes either. You're doing your thing your way. I'm going to allow you. And Aubrey come, and you know what too? I moved the TV out of our bedroom into the kids' room, and I slept there for a week. And he called mommy and complained, and mommy said, no, you're on the wrong path. Cook your husband food and wash him dinner. Don't make him call me and tell me that again. And there, that changed everything. Yeah, man, I forgive him, and I will not go back to that. We are one, and we're going to remain one. Aubrey, I love you, and I commit to be with you until death do us part.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aubrey and Donna. Here's to many more years of happiness and wedded bliss. On the next episode of Forever I Do,
She came and interviewed me about the pap smear and cancer of the cervix. So I remember she came with the camera guy and we're talking, and it's just this smile and this dimple. She had this dimple, and it's like the smile has turned me fool. So we did the interview and it done.
He was speechless. He couldn't manage the interview. Can you imagine that?
And then after the interview, she called me back again. because somebody at the station tape over the tape. Seriously.
Yes.
And she had interviewed me again. And I had to look up in her face again. And it was done after that, it was done.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Makeup services provided by Nardine Beauty. Coordination and planning, Shakima Hines of Island Brides, Jamaica. Forever I Do is filmed on location at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, your wedding destination in Kingston, Jamaica.